Hello friends, welcome once again to Esomnofu online math class. In this video, I'm going to use completing square method of solving quadratic equation to make x the subject of the formula. This is because there is no other means that you can utilize in order to make x the subject of the formula here. If you try to factor out or do any other thing possible, you cannot make x subject. Therefore, the only means through which x could be made the subject of the formula here is to utilize the completing square method of solving quadratic equation. And that completing square method will give us the value of x, and that value of x is known as the quadratic formula, which many students call the almighty formula. But the right name is quadratic formula because there is nothing like almighty formula. No formula is almighty. Okay, so here you have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation because the highest power of the unknown is 2. Now, having ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the first thing to do here is to divide both sides by a, which is the coefficient of x squared, so that x squared stays alone. We want the coefficient of x squared to be unit. Okay, so divide through by a, which is the coefficient of x squared. We are dividing everything by a, the coefficient of x squared. So a we cancel a, we are left with x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equal to 0, because 0 over a is still 0. The next thing is to move the constant to the right hand side. The constant we have here is c over a because it has no letter x in it. There is letter x, so there is no letter x in this. Therefore, move it to the right hand side because this and this contains x apart from this. Now we shall have x squared plus b over ax equals, when positive crossing over here, it becomes minus c all over a. The next step you take is to add to both sides half the square of coefficient of x. First of all, you need to get the coefficient of x, find half of it, square it, then add it to both sides. Remember, in any equation, whatever you do to the left hand side and you also do to the right hand side makes the equation to be balanced. Therefore, to get what we need to do here, that is to make the left hand side factorizable, we need to make it a perfect square. And to make any expression perfect, you need to take half of the coefficient of the x, then square it. Now, coefficient of x here is b over a. And what is half of it? Half of it means multiplying it by half, and that will give us b all over 2a, because 2 times a is 2a. Then square it. So we are having b over 2a all squared. So this is what we add to both sides. So coming to the left hand side, I shall have x squared plus b over ax. Then I'll add b over 2a all squared to the left hand side. Also to the right hand side, I have minus c all over a. I will also add b over 2a all squared. Then this is now a perfect square. Okay, you can factorize it. To factorize it, this has squared, this has squared. The best way to do this is to take the first term here, x, plus the second term here, the last term here is b over 2a, then all squared. If you expand this bracket, you are getting this first. So the best way to do this, once you have made an expression to be perfect, if you want to factorize it just like I've done, there are two terms there. Neglect the middle term, provided that it is a perfect square. Neglect the middle term, pick the first term, pick the last term that has a power of 2. The first term here is x, the last term is b over 2a, then square it. If you expand the bracket, you are getting this back. Then equals minus c over a plus b squared all over 2 squared is 4, then a squared. So that is what we are having. Let us simplify the right hand side very well, but before that, let's still repeat what we're having here. We have x plus b over 2a all squared is equal to, the LCM of a and 4a squared is 4a squared, so you write 4a squared. Then 4a squared divided by a. Listen here, 4a squared divided by a. A is double here. This will cancel out, leaving us just with 4a. Then 4a with times minus c, you have minus 4ac plus, you continue again, 4a squared divide 4a squared. The same thing divide the same thing will give us 1. So 4a squared divide 4a squared will give us 1. 1 times b squared is b squared. You still continue again. So from here, you have x plus b over 2a. Remember, all squared is equal to, I can write b squared first before the negative number that is something, because addition is commutative. So I can have it as b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Remember, in mathematics, when you see square, you can take square root of both sides to eliminate the square. So I can take the square root of both sides to eliminate this square here. This will cancel out this. We'll have x plus b all over 2a equals square root of b squared minus 4ac all over, remember, I don't want this 4 to be in square again, because the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of a squared will just give me a, because a times a is a. You will see that when you say 2a times 2a, you get 4a squared. Then the next thing to do is to move this plus to the right hand side, so that, because we want x to be the subject, so that x can stay alone. So we shall have it as x equals, this is positive, coming here becomes negative, minus b over 2a. Remember, when you take square root, you are putting plus or minus. Don't forget that, because the square root of any number could be either a positive or negative. So minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You can see that the denominators are the same thing. If the denominator of two fractions are the same thing, you can just use 1. So you have it as 2a. 2a divided 2a is 1. 1 times minus b is minus b, plus or minus 2a divided 2a is 1. 1 times this root will still give us the same thing, b squared minus 4ac. And this is just the solution to this particular quadratic equation, where we're asked to make x the subject of the formula. This is the subject of the formula, x as stays alone, and this is now the quadratic formula. You can use this formula to solve any quadratic equation and you will get the exact answer. In fact, this formula gives you the answer to any quadratic equation. Even the factorization method cannot give you, but this can give you the solution to all quadratic equation. Many students call this almighty formula, but it is just a quadratic formula. Okay, we've seen how beautifully we've made x the subject of the formula. I thank you for viewing, and may God bless you.